This photo on their wedding day. But now Marcus Lemons was shot and killed by his wife, Tamika. She is a highway patrol officer. Detectives say the shooting occurred in their car as it was exiting the 91 freeway Saturday night after a dinner together. Marcus Lemons' family now talking to Sheriff's Homicide, hoping there won't be special treatment because Tamika Lemons is a highway patrol officer.
I hope it's not a cover-up or anything. We just want justice, that's all.
Indeed, Tamika Lemons was not arrested after shooting her husband. She told police he was abusing her.
The suspect became verbally and physically combative towards the off-duty officer, and the victim was able to retrieve a firearm and shoot the suspect once in the upper torso, and the suspect was later pronounced dead at the scene.
A father of 2 children, everyone who knows Marcus Lemons says he was a caring father of his 2 children, never abusive. An ex-girlfriend of 10 years and mother of his 2 kids is concerned about Tamika Lemons' tendencies.
She was a heavy drinker, and I've known her to drink at my son's basketball game early in the morning. And my only concern is that, you know, by her being a CHP officer, things are swept under the rug. She hasn't been arrested.
Marcus Lemons worked as a barber here in Compton. His customers grieving him today.
He was shot execution style from an officer, trained officer, who was supposed to pull their weapon out when their life is in danger. And it's just ironic that he was killed by his wife.
A CHP officer remains free tonight after killing her husband Saturday night, allegedly in fear for her own life. The couple had just been at Carl's Jr. in Compton, and then a few blocks away, someone called to report a man had been shot on Amantha Avenue. Tony Valdez is live from where the couple used to spend happier times together. Tony.
In fact, Christine, it is the Cal Bowl, and if you look at the trophy case inside, there's photographs of Marcus Lemons. There's also some trophies with his name on them. His friends say that he was planning on turning pro. That, of course, was before he was killed by his wife Saturday night. The wedding photos show a happy couple, Marcus Lemons, a barber, and Tamika Johnson, a CHP officer. Friends say they met at Cal Bowl in Long Beach, where they were both active in leagues.
A lot of the conversation with Marcus and Tamika had to do with bowling. You know, they were both good bowlers, and it's just an unfortunate incident.
His wife, the CHP officer, told Sheriff's Homicide Bureau detectives that she shot her husband after dinner late Saturday night when he became verbally and physically abusive. At Platinum Cuts in Compton, where Marcus worked, this is what the shop owner thinks of her story.
Well, just keep asking people. You can ask people on his side or her side, and they can't do nothing but say the same exact thing. Because he was a good person.
Marcus's friends say his wife is not being treated the way they would under the same circumstances because she is free.
You know, like they paint this picture to her like she, you know, because she is CHP, that, you know, she's in the right, you know, and you know, she eventually she'll get over. Marcus just deserved, I would say he deserved a fair trial.
He's talking about a fair trial in the sense that Marcus gets equal justice. Earlier, Fox News talked with Marcus's former fiancée about their relationship.
I don't know all of the details of what happened, but what I do know is that he was not physically abusive to me. He's never been, and we were together for over 10 years.
Talking with some of Marcus's friends as well as people who bowled with them here at Cal Bowl, they say that Tamika Lemons was known to sometimes drink a bit too much, and when she did that, and when she was upset, they say she always made sure that everybody around her knew that she was a CHP officer. Live in Long Beach, Tony Valdez, Fox 11 News.
Highway Patrol officer is behind bars 2 years after admitting to shooting and killing her husband. Tamika Johnson allegedly told investigators she shot her husband after he became abusive. But today, the district attorney charged her with murder. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter is live in Compton. She's spoken with friends and family. Leanne.
Mark, the DA's office isn't saying what turned the case, but nearly 2 years after that shooting investigation began right here in this Compton neighborhood, that CHP officer is behind bars charged with murdering her husband. A heartfelt hug for a young son celebrating justice for his slain father.
I was very happy about this. It took a long time to get it, but we got it through it. So I'm very happy about this.
32-year-old Marcus Lemons was shot and killed by his wife Tamika Johnson, a CHP officer, in February of 2009. Almost 2 years after the deadly shooting in the couple's car, Johnson has been arrested and charged with murder.
I think that Justice is now going to be served.
Investigators say Johnson shot her husband in the head in their car, then drove to her parents' home in Compton before calling police. The 31-year-old told sheriff's investigators and friends that it was domestic violence, that her husband had become abusive.
All she did was protect herself, if anything, If anything, all she did was protect herself.
Friends of the victim say he was never a violent man.
Stories I heard of what she was doing during their marriage, I was kind of concerned, but he said he was all right with it. He had it under control, and that night he didn't. So I feel pretty good about her being arrested.
The CHP released a statement saying, quote, "These are serious allegations and are being treated accordingly by CHP management. The department will not tolerate actions by any of its employees who violate the public trust and bring discredit to the organization." Officer Johnson worked out of the West L.A. office since the shooting. She had been in a non-enforcement administrative position. Today, though, she was placed on administrative leave without pay. She remains behind bars on $2 million bail. Live in Compton, Leanne Suter, ABC 7 Eyewitness
Dramatic turn
News.
of events as a former California Highway Patrol officer is convicted of killing her husband. Tomikia Johnson collapsed in court while the guilty verdict was read. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Randa is live at the courthouse in downtown L.A., where he talked with a friend of the victim. Carlos?
And it was a very dramatic moment when this verdict came down and she found out that she was found guilty of murder. She collapsed. Family members were crying outside the courthouse. She is the former CHP officer who told the court, told the jurors that this was an accidental shooting. The jurors didn't believe it. Tomikia Johnson collapsed in court when she heard the verdict. Guilty of murder. Johnson was on trial for first-degree murder in the shooting death of her husband, Marcus Lemons, back in February of 2009. She was a CHP officer at the time. Shortly after she collapsed, paramedics were called in, and everyone was ordered out of the courtroom.
Juror number 1, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2?
Yes.
Well, it's probably a lot of things going through her mind. I mean, she have a daughter, her only child, so I know she's going to miss her. And just the fact of going to jail, and then what she did. I mean, bad things in your life, you never could forget them.
Johnson said she shot her husband in self-defense after he became physically abusive during an argument. Detectives, however, doubted her story and arrested her last January. Prosecutors said Johnson shot Lemons near a 91 freeway off-ramp, then drove to her parents' home in Compton with her husband's body in the passenger seat.
I feel justice was served.
Randy Brown had known Lemons for 10 years. They owned a barbershop together in Compton. He says his family just wanted to know the truth. She alleged that he was physically and mentally abusive.
I mean, just the person that he is, not because he's my friend. He just never seemed that he would ever do nothing like that. I've seen instances where he could have got out of control in the barbershop. He never did, so I don't know, but people can be different behind closed doors.
Johnson was remanded into custody by the judge and had to be taken away on a stretcher from the courthouse. She was handcuffed to the gurney as she was placed in an ambulance and taken to the hospital for observation. And Johnson will be sentenced on March 9th. She now faces 50 years to life in prison. Reporting live from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Carlos.